Aloha. My name is Amala Purana Das, also known as Angelo B. Gonzalez. Um, I'm happy to be here with you all and to be talking about this topic, uh, which we're going to talk about today, is on the importance of sunshine, balancing with nature, and how to respond when unexpected emotions arise. We are gonna give a little 5 minute sound bath while we're waiting for people to get on. We got Jacob on. What's up?
What's
What's up, Jake?
up? How you doing?
Hey, I like your profile with the lion.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very strong and embodied.
Thank you. I thought it was cool. It was chilling with me.
Yeah,
And
bro.
so,
Flow on some charts with you and Sal.
yes,
And to see if you are open for a little discussion slash meditation with on the topic of nature, sunshine, and emotional balance. So
yeah, we'll probably do that.
he was just on, so I'm gonna let him hop on again. But I just got this Koshi chime in the water element.
That's pretty cool. What's it made out of?
It's made out of bamboo. It has a crystal ball in the inside here, and it's got like these it's got like these little you can maybe see it in there. It's like little
Uh-huh.
metal rods that are all tuned to
Oh,
make the sound.
wow. That's pretty cool.
What's up, Sal? Welcome in,
What's up,
welcome.
Amala?
I heard y'all were flowing through some charts. I'm happy y'all can merge here with this one.
Yeah, definitely. We've been flowing through gold for a couple hours now and found a good found a decent long, and now we're just looking at some retests, potentially reversal, potentially going up.
Y'all day
Some good.
trading, scalping?
Yeah, we're trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Nice. Well, y'all are definitely more welcome to do that during this call, and then we'll actually stream the charts here in a minute, but I want to just start off with a little meditation and the a topic here of discussion. So I hope y'all down to talk about this a little bit.
Let's do it.
Let's
So
do it.
this is on the importance of sunshine, balancing with nature, how to respond when unexpected emotions arise. So we'll bring ourselves to our heart center, uh, knowing that from our heart comes all the energy for the rest of our body. It's one of the most important energy centers, and we're connected with everything around us, right? We're connected with nature, connected with the elements. The first element I want to talk about is sunshine, and I was having a I was having pretty much like an epiphany, uh how powerful the sun is in my life, because I've been working real hard lately, and haven't spent as much time in the sun. Now I got a few days off, and I had a whole day to charge up in the sun yesterday, and I thought like it's making me feel so good. Like I gotta talk about this topic while it's fresh. So one thing that comes to my mind is that sunshine is unlimited free energy. It's something that since ancient civilizations they've been they knew how to tap into this. to the sunshine energy. And it wasn't just like solar panels. It's not just like, there's not solar panel technology. It's just one little aspect of what the sun can give, but there's different levels to the solar energy, the different frequencies of the sun at different times of day. And ourselves, we have different levels of receptibility to the solar energy. In the modern present day, we find a lot of people have fear the sun because you know, they say with all kinds of global changing of the environment, all kind of stuff, is the rays are more intense and all kind of stuff. And I understand there's understandable precautions we got to take with the sun. You know, it's a powerful energy, and too much of anything could be, you know, could be too bad. So it's all about balance, right? In the early morning hours, according to Ayurveda, the sun is at the most healing frequency. Like you could say, between sunrise and when the sun's like, I would say like 9 a.m. or so, I found that the sun at that time actually gives more energy. It's not as intense, not gonna burn you as easily. And there's a certain type of sattva gun, it's a mode of goodness, a type of tranquility that comes in that morning sun. The afternoon sun, you know, is more hot, it's more passionate, it's right in the center of the sky, so it's illuminating everything, but it's like very powerful at that time. And the rays there are yeah, just kind of invigorating, right? Just kind of getting things done and so on and so forth. And then you know, the setting of the sun, the evening sun, according to like Eastern Ayurveda, is described as it brings you, it kind of draws your energy out or calms your energy down. It'll make you sleepier, it'll make you kind of start winding down because of the type of energetic frequency it gives off as it's setting. And so being in attunement with the sun balances our mind, it balances our emotions naturally. And even just spending like 30 minutes in the sun intentionally, you can harvest so much free energy. And it's like an energy, like if you're looking for like if we're looking for an energy of motivation, an energy, you know, if ever feel depressed or ever feel any types of overthinking, anxiety, or too much emotions like clouding our judgment, going to the sun and doing a quick meditation, a 15-minute, 20-minute meditation can really help us feel decompressed, help us feel enlivened, and it's really good for us all around. And I'm sure everyone here who is listening to the recording and y'all that are here with me live can have felt this to a certain degree or another. And so I'm just sharing my excitement on the sunshine because I was feeling pretty emotional this last week, and I was telling Cody, bro, I just want to be fully financially free so that I can spend more time in the sun. And he tells me, his reply to me was, I'm willing to bet you that if you start spending more time in the sun, then you're gonna start feeling more financial freedom. I was like, it hit me. I was like, you know what? It's true. It's like what the things that I'm longing for, to be happy and to seek satisfaction. I just gotta make whatever time I can. I can't think about like the giant picture right away, but like at least taking one little step towards it, you know. And I think it's the same thing with trading. Is like whenever I feel overwhelmed with trading is like, usually I'm thinking about the big picture. Like I'm thinking, oh, I want to start making hundreds of thousands of dollars already. And I don't take it from the little steps it actually takes to make that reality possible. And so definitely a perspective shift when he told me that. Okay, and then another topic is of balancing with nature, right? And this connected with the sun, of course, but I'm talking about grounding our energy. Uh, it's really good to get outside, put our feet on the ground, get into somewhere where it's away from all the ruckus of the city, and grounding our inner voltage, because emotions are like electrical currents that run through us. They're not bad, but at times it's a lot of energy to deal with, and it's hard to know, like, how can I deal with all this voltage running through me? Sometimes this could be painful. I found that grounding ourselves to the earth, both physically and mentally, it helps us become a better conduit of this energy, so that instead of the energy using us or burning us out, so that we actually feel more of a sense of control, where we can redirect the energy to help us to help our goals, to propel us towards the direction we're looking to get, instead of feeling like, oftentimes when I'm feeling a lot of energy and I don't ground myself, I'll feel overwhelmed real easily. And I think that's a commonality in this day and age, such a fast-paced world. So it's real important to decompress with Mother Nature, and almost like feel her motherly embrace, because a lot of times we want to be held. A lot of times we want to feel like someone to hold us and to let us know that they love us, and to feel that comfort. And and we can really feel that with the earth when we slow down with our breath, meditate, and tune into her frequency. We can almost like, I've heard her speak to me and give me that comfort and that encouragement when I felt like when I felt real low, and something I don't know if it's ironic, so the best word to say about it, but like, when I'm like, if I could just lay down on the ground and like almost like hug the earth, I'm like, I'll take a very low position. When if I'm ever feeling low, I'll get to the lowest point. It was grounding and hugging the earth, and that's what makes me feel good to get out of that emotional low, that slump, And everything I'm sharing is just a little reminder to myself too, because I have definitely feel like I need have a calling to connect more, and invite more balance into my life. I've been focusing a lot on like hustling, making money, and making things happen, and it's a good reminder to self and to anyone out there. It's like, it's okay. You're actually, the progress won't go anywhere if we take the time to go within and really care for ourselves. Look at that. Oh,
It's reflecting. Can you see that? Hold on. There's bad reflection.
Holy moly, Batman.
man, you're talented, bro. You made that. Wow.
Yeah, I just made it.
You just made that?
Well, like yesterday.
Still, that's so impressive.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got done adding the boat in the water, so now I'll take a picture of it, shake it up, and then I'm done.
That's cool. That's nature right there. I like it, bro. One thought I thought about, because like, it's natural. We have technology, we have our phones, we have our computers, and they stimulate us. They have all the kind of lights, colors, and stimulation we're looking for. And even to my grandpa now, he's using Facebook, and it's just it's such a normal thing. And there's a lot of shame and all kinds of stuff. I actually was at a point in my past where I was like, there's a lot of shame behind like technology, and like, oh, I'm using too much screen time, all that kind of stuff. And the more I put shame on it, the more I felt like guilty, the more I was like having the craving for it and like the impulse for it, right? And I'm thinking about like, where's this come from? Because like we got the blue light, right? And I use blue light filters on my phone now. I've been aware of their effects. But the original blue light actually comes from the sun. And that blue light gives energy, but the sun's energy, and maybe if you notice, you try to use your phone in the beach or the sun, it's very difficult to use it in direct sunlight. You got to get into the shade, you got to get away from the sun to use it, because there's no comparison to the light, right? The light, you hold a candle up to the sun and you can barely see the light of the candle.
Yeah.
And
But
I
when
was
you're out,
thinking, oh, so sorry, go ahead.
do you know why? Do you know why the blue light on the phone's worse for you than the blue light in the sun?
No.
So it's because the blue light on the phone that's the actual lightning source. So it's like directly at you and it's directly in your eyes. Okay. And that's what keeps you awake. Whereas if you're outside in nature, the sun gives us literally every color on the rainbow comes from the sun. Okay.
Mm.
But all of our plants and everything. So if you look at a tree and it's green, the reason it's green is because it's actually absorbing all the light. The only light rays that the plant isn't absorbing is that green. So it's actually reflecting the green light. So all the plants and everything outside are actually absorbing all the other. So you're not getting just directly blue light. You're getting all the light, but a lot of it's getting absorbed around you, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. So when you look at something, the color you see, like a mountain, that's like when you see like purple off in the distance, it's because it's reflecting that off. All the other colors are getting absorbed.
Yeah, there's even blue light therapy now, and it's blue light that's directly it's just the blue light, not any of the other frequencies that we get with the devices. And yeah, blue light has been shown, especially if it's just the blue light, to have a lot of health benefits. Red light too. Red light and infrared is surprisingly really, really good and really helpful for inflammation and a bunch of other medical benefits. But yeah, when it's from the technology, that's when we have a problem. Amala, are you familiar with syncretism at all? A name that comes to mind is what's his name? Santos Bonacci. Any of that ring any bells?
That it don't off the top of my head, but it sounds real interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the reason I brought it up is you were talking about how the sun at different times of the day has different qualities, has different emanations, and he actually traces with like the study of astrology and the study of the ancients, a lot of Neoplatonic thought, is that the sun actually goes through the different zodiac signs throughout the day. So like from like 6 to 8, you have the sun is in Aries, and that's when most people are getting up for work. That's when most people are getting ready, then moves into Taurus, and that's when we have kind of our most the most work is done there, the most productive work. And then as we get further and further, the sun continues to cycle through the zodiac signs. And his thought, or at least the what I get from a lot of his work, is that you're actually absorbing or being not projected, but you're taking in the qualities of the sun and of the zodiac signs as the sun travels through the sky throughout the day. I mean, this is happening constantly. So if you're not getting if you're not getting sunlight in the beginning of the day, it might affect your entire workout, put your energy the entire day. And then if you only get it in the at its zenith, then you might be getting the harshest of the rays. So that's why like a lot of neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman are talking about these days getting sunlight into your eyes during sunrise, getting sunlight into your eyes around sunset. It's got its most powerful benefits. So I just think it's very interesting that not only does like a lot of astrology and ancient thought have these ideas that you're absorbing a lot of the positive qualities of not only the sun but the zodiac signs depending on the time of day, but also neuroscience and modern sciences seeing the benefits of it. So I thought it dovetailed really, really nicely with what you were saying in the beginning.
Oh, it does. What can you repeat one more time the name of the person so I can type it here in my notes?
Yes, Santos, Santos Bonacci, Bonacci. I think. It's syncretism, and it's essential. Like syncretism is essentially taking in all of ancient thought, modern thought. It's all the philosophical systems, all the metaphysical systems that we have of what of conceptualizing, you know, what is beyond the material realm, what is beyond the earthly realm. Um, it's laid out nicely conceptually, and how in syncretism, and how the human, our bodies are connected to the timing of the celestials. um
Mhm.
and it's really in depth. I obviously haven't explored all of his work, but I think it resonated a lot with what you were saying, and could be a
Most
good
definitely.
resource.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into that because I'm looking to expand my knowledge more on this, and I feel like if you look at like a lot of ancient I feel like they're advanced civilizations, lost civilizations, or we went through this whole age of people really trying to have power over others, and I think we're definitely moving to age now of more receptibility and listening, and maybe trying to hear the wisdom that our ancestors had, or like we're starting to see modern approaches to science, or scientific methods that are discovering, as you're saying, in neurology and such, discovering what the ancients said to be in alignment with science. It's like um which goes to show me like there's so much ancient science and wisdom that's, I think, starting to be rediscovered again. Maybe had been dormant for some time. And something that really interests me a lot is like in Egypt and even in Machu Picchu, a lot of all the structures there were built according to the zodiac, according to astrology, and
Hmm.
how astrology wasn't just seen as like a superstition thing or just like something you feel or something that you believe in, but like as a way in which they interpreted the ways energies worked at different times of the days, different times of the years, different times of maybe after a certain period of years. Like I don't know, I know like in Sanskrit they have like kalpas, which represent like different ages. So um
Like the cat, like the yuga cycles.
the yugas, yeah, the yugas. Mhm.
Like right, I think right now what we're supposed to be in the Kali Yuga right now,
The Kali Yuga, yeah.
which is supposed to be like an age of rediscovery.
Hmm.
I think
It's a
it's
place from like where from destruction we find life comes back again, almost like
mm,
is an age of, yeah, I think in this age, although there's so much stuff going on in the world that seems like that doesn't align with us and seems heartbreaking, and it's like still going on to this day, there's still like this esoteric truths that are being revealed to those who are searching. And but yeah, I really appreciate you adding that point. Uh yeah, and I
it
think
really. Dude, sorry, I was just gonna say, and I think that ties in really well with the creation of the internet.
Mhm.
You know, we're
Mm.
able to rediscover all these, like I mean, just with our devices that we're using to talk right now, we have access to nearly all of humanity's stored knowledge right at our fingertips. And we're supposed to be in this age where we're rediscovering, where through destruction we rediscover esoteric secrets. And I certainly was on, that's how my journey started, just
Mhm.
exploring the internet, exploring YouTube before it exploded into what it is now,
Yeah.
finding all these books that I would have never found in any libraries, or would have had to spend, you know, thousands of dollars to gather this info. And I was able to do it just using my computer.
Yeah.
So I think that ties in nicely, that the age we're in of rediscovery ties in nicely with what's going on technologically throughout our world.
Yeah, the plants have their own little network when they communicate through the mycelium networks. I find it very similar to the internet, and I also find it very similar to like the way our neurons fire, it's real connected. The only reason the internet exists I heard this really awesome explanation on artificial intelligence, and they say artificial intelligence gonna be doing so much things, so many things are gonna be so many things are gonna be maybe even better in certain senses because of it, more efficient, all kind of stuff. But in the end of the day, like the artificial intelligence came from our intelligence, from the human intelligence. And the only reason like any of these things exist, like the internet and stuff, is because they exist within our own self. And I do appreciate like this age, although there's a lot of censorship now in especially 2020 and moving forward, there's a lot of censorship happening. But I also feel like with decentralization, I think with web 3, the ideas of web 3 and things going on the blockchain, I think I'm hoping we're gonna see more information available, even things that right now it's hard to find certain things now. I was trying to look up something today that I had watched some years back, and I couldn't find it anywhere on YouTube, and I was like, oh man, I had to do a little bit of research, but I finally found it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited, and I think a lot of people were also kind of doubting the internet when it first arose, and now
Oh
look where
yeah,
it's.
absolutely. I think I saw a couple of weeks ago. I saw an old commercial. Yeah, a couple of weeks. I was at my in-laws, and we my brother-in-law was just putting on like old 90s and 2000s commercials, and there was one news segment that was kind of making fun of the internet. They were like, "What is this internet thing? What is it supposed to do?" And people were just the news anchors were kind of mocking it, like, "Yeah, it'll fade out in the next couple of months." And here we are.
Yeah,
We can't even function without it. I
right.
let me ask you a question, because it,
Mhm.
it just popped in as soon as you said that, a lot of the internet and technology seems to be representative of what's inside of us. I've
Mhm.
had this thought. I want do you wonder about, like, could the internet be like a physical representation of the collective unconsciousness, or like the Akashic records?
Oh, I actually mentioned that the other day to my girlfriend. I think the internet's like a material expansion of the Akashic records, or just a certain little aspect of it. I do think so. Although I think that there's still so much things that are probably not on there yet. So it's more of like the stuff that we're able to discover within our own self that we place on there, like a database, and we have
Hmm.
a lot of, the more people upload, the more we get more information, more content, which makes it really important to be a content creator. I think in this age, if we have good things to share, I think we have to find ways to like share it, because people like you and us, when we're old, they're gonna be people our age trying to discover more things, and we can help them uh save time. Like you said, you could spend thousands of dollars and so much time flying different places trying to find out what you found out in some moments of research, or some hours of research. And uh yeah, I think it's just gonna expand more and more, and who knows, I don't know where our future generation will be, because as the astrology is changing, as the world's changing, and people are evolving consciously, I don't even know what type of technology be out there. It's like inconceivable to me. Just like I think if you put like a modem, or if you put some kind of thing that we got now out on in the middle of the road, in the middle of the city, like some 300 years ago, they wouldn't know what to do with it. And if someone was dying and you had like a certain type of like I forget what those things all call, you can resuscitate people with
Oh, the defibrillator.
the defibrillator. If someone was like, kind of having a heart attack or something, that back then, and one of those things was right there, no one would know how to use it. um and it's just, to me, it's to show like right now the potential of what we can do, like with solar energy, with ethereal energy, and so on. It's like there's a lot to be discovered still. And I do believe in the Akashic records. I believe like anything that is possible already exists in the mental realm or in
Yeah,
the astral realm.
there's no new idea. Everything was already like once thought.
Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. To give a concrete example, Cody mentions the Black Airbender a lot. And I actually discovered the Black Airbender before I discovered the Cody. And he's doing a lot with scalar technology right now. And that utilizes the quantum field or the unitary field, whatever your name for it is. It's essentially taking in ethereal energy and redistributing it as electromagnetic energy. Wilhelm Reich was doing that back in the 1920s. People have been using vibrational and sound technologies way before now. So yeah, I think Jacob hits a good point there. There's nothing new under the sun. We're almost rediscovering everything, which I think lends more credence to your point, Amala, about our ancients. They probably were way more advanced than us, had a way better understanding of the universe and our connection to it and what we could do with our bodies and minds, than we possibly know now. We're just rediscovering the very fringes of it. Who knows with the good amount of who knows what could happen with a good amount of rediscovery, what kind of technologies we could have.
I just want to welcome Kian to this group.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Hey, Kian.
Good.
Hey, good to have you here.
I see you guys are talking about the ancient past.
Talking about solar energy. We're talking about the Akashic records a little bit, and the internet, and how the internet, has made so much information accessible to us.
Bro, and ChatGPT is like, I'm geeking on it. Like, it's actually amazing because you can use it like a search engine. You can just like have a conversation with a robot and it'll just, do you know what ChatGPT is, Amala?
No, what's that? I'm gonna write it down here so I can look it up after. GBT, you said?
GPT, girl, panda, toy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like a revolutionary AI chatbot. When they first released it, you could literally tell it to, like, it understands human language perfectly. So you could tell it to do anything. You could tell it, pretend to be a 1930s housewife, and you're angry at me and I'm your husband. And it would like have a conversation with you. You can tell it, Amelie, you can tell it to write a rap song in the style of Shakespeare and it'll do it beautifully on any topic, anything. You tell it to write about the stock market, it'll write about the stock market. You tell it to write about personal improvement, it'll write about personal improvement. And like, you can use it as a therapist. Like, you can tell it, ask me, like, pretend to be a life coach and ask me questions in response to my questions. So you'll say like, what can I do to make more money? And then it'll ask you like, what are your current skills? Like, what have you done in the recent past that you could turn into a profitable venture? It's like, it's actually amazing, dude. It's amazing.
I'm gonna try them out.
They've nerfed the shit out of it, right? So I don't know if you know what that means, but nerf,
yeah.
It's like, in gaming, nerfing is when you like downgrade because people were telling it to write, like, just for fun. They were like, write propaganda in the style of Putin justifying the war in Ukraine, right? And it would do it. It could find the facts and information that it would need to create a propaganda piece to justify, killing people, right? So bit by bit, they're nerfing it more and more and more and making it very practical. But like the first week it was released, it was completely unhinged and you could tell it to do anything and it would do it. And now you can't, but it's still very useful if you are, just searching for information or ways to gather intelligence, from the internet.
It would be
It's
good
dope.
to learn how to have like that type of technology, you know, accessible, unnerfed.
Yeah, right. Unnerved. I mean, I mean, there are people I'm sure who have access to the unnerved version, um, and it's frankly dangerous. It's dangerous because anybody could sit there and produce like 50 propaganda pieces, all beautifully written. I mean, better writer than 95% of humans.
Yeah.
And publish that all over the internet. You could spread that out. You could spread misinformation so quickly using this thing. So yeah, that's the reason they nerfed it. They're like, certain topics are not even allowed to be talked about anymore, stuff like that. So, but relating to the Akashic records, I think it's very cool, to have, like, in a sense, like a singularity of sorts, sort of like ChatGPT, where you don't have to go searching for the information. It's just like, it's all right there, and you can just, in human conversation, ask. Anyway, I'll turn it back over to you. I got kind of stoked.
No, that's cool. No, it's definitely connected because it's quite amazing that we're even able to do such things, you know, with technology. And I think the reason we brought that up too is because like the solar energy, the ethereal energies, the energy within our own self, there's so much that we can discover and be receptive towards. And I think that it's just a matter of like, it's just a matter of time, I guess, finding the right information to be able to access this. And I know that they are finding more uses for solar energy, or they're even discovering like in ways in which like the sun played such a crucial role in the pyramids. And yeah, and we were actually talking about astrology too, and you know, kind of how the sun, Sal was talking about how the sun goes into different zodiacs throughout the day. And it's just real interesting how I think how our ancestors had seen it was not as like something superstitious, but more of like their way of expressing natural laws and frequencies as they change throughout the day and throughout the year and throughout several years and decades. And what we were calling yugas, we're in the Kali Yuga now. And yeah, pretty much on those topics. And we started off with, I just want to recap on what we started. We started off with how sunshine is unlimited free energy, and it's really good for us to spend some kind of association with the sun intentionally to charge up our energy fields, to change our own mindset on the sun and be more receptible to it. And also the sun's a very powerful energy, so in moderation, you can't overdo anything in life. It has to have a balance. And I wrote here in my notes, love over fear. So I feel like I don't get I used to get sunburned a lot when I was younger, and I used to use a lot of sunscreen. And when I became a monk, I used to go and meditate in the morning sun, and I would sit out in our garden, and I would do my prayers / mantra, or even just silent meditation with my chest directly point at the sun. And I noticed that when I didn't have fear for the sun, I saw it as my friend, I saw it as my companion, I saw it as my own. I started noticing like, wait a second, I'm not getting burnt as easily as I used to. And I feel like I would also have an inner voice in knowing when I should leave the present, like when I should just like get a little break, you know. So it's beautiful, and I think you can talk about this for a long time. So but anyways, I want to recap on that. We talked about balancing with nature, how grounding our inner voltage, you know, is so important, going out to the earth and spending time with her to decompress, to feel the motherly embrace, and to also get the light, colors, and stimulation that we're looking for. All that type of everything that we might be looking for in technology, we can also find out in nature in its fullest. And I also put here that it offers us a sound healing, because I know that when I hear the little birds singing their songs at certain frequencies, it like almost hits certain notes in my consciousness, like pop, 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 pop. And and it fixes certain problems that like I thought like I had to vent to my girlfriend about and kind of stuff like that. But the
Mm.
what I really needed was like that alone time, that time to decompress. And just like this last week, I was sharing them with how I shared in our chat that I felt like I want to be financially free so I can spend more time in the sun. And I loved Cody's response was he did the reverse. He said, well, I bet you that if you spend more time with the sun, you're gonna start feeling more financial freedom and you're gonna feel more abundant. And it clicked to me. I was like, it's true. I gotta instead of making excuses for it, I just gotta be like, all right, I want to spend time in the sun. I'm gonna go do it and just do it. And I feel great. I felt a lot of charge up yesterday. I spent a lot of time in the sun. Probably after this call, I'm gonna go hop into the ocean too, and get round two in.
Lucky man.
Yeah, bro. I'm grateful to be out here in Hawaii, and I would love for this Discord to have some kind of like we do some kind of festival or something out here and have a good time.
Man.
Super awesome.
Man, you're making Colorado sound like shit right now.
Man, that's where I lived for 5 years before I came out here.
Oh, we just got about 6 inches last night, so I'm walking
Oh,
my
yeah.
dog in tons of snow right now. So I'm definitely feeling you right now.
Bro, I used to have to shovel so much snow, so I know how it's like. I'm from Miami originally, so it's kind of cool to experience the different climates. And they're all beautiful, like at to the certain extent. I start missing the snow while I'm out here too, so um it's just always nicer on the other side sometimes. um Here we go. Last thing I want to talk about, maybe we can flow through some charts, but this is some personal notes that I felt when emotions start arising, right? When I start feeling the emotions, I start feeling upset, I start feeling overwhelmed, or whatever emotions can arise. I've taken little steps here that made it easier for me, and I hope for you all and whoever's listening to this recording later can benefit from. But the first step for me was just to become aware of them instead of trying to avoid the emotions and trying to like suppress them or try to find a solution to them right away. I just start to become aware of them. Okay, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling frustration, or I'm feeling anxiety, right? I just try to allow myself to face it, to become in sync a little bit with how I'm feeling. And when I start feeling aware, then I practice non-avoidance. Instead of running away from the problem, I try to see, okay, where is it coming from? I ask myself, why do I feel this way? Why am I feeling overwhelmed, or why am I feeling anger? And then when that non-avoidance comes up and I face it, I try to not react right away to that feeling, because it's easy when I'm feeling angry is I just want to get something and throw it. and and if I instead of going for that reaction or saying that thing or whatever it is, biting my lip, whatever it is, I practice no reaction to that. Awareness, non-reaction, and then as Cody loves to share, is breathing love into that, slowing down my mind, slowing down the restlessness with breath. When I start feeling that calm coming in and I'm the energy is balancing out, feel in tune myself again, I will actually start to think about affirmations that will benefit me and that will bring me more of a sense of gratitude and bring my attention away from those emotions and what triggered those emotions, and now bringing my attention more into those words of affirmation and reminders to myself of my highest self, because like I might not be there all the time or right now to the fullest extent of where I will be or I want to be, right? But if at least I'm aware of my highest self, or like the person I look up to, or the frequency I look up to, then it really does start tuning me to that, and I feel like I start embodying it more, and it becomes more of a part of me. And in all this, I practice non-judgment, because at the end of the day, like, let's say these emotions come up, and they have, and they still do. There's a tendency in me, and especially when I was like meditating all the time, practicing like Buddhism and monkhood and all kind of stuff, I had a tendency to judge myself and feel like I was a failure because I let those emotions take over me again, or I reacted to them, or whatever it came up. I've just been really realizing how powerful it is to not judge myself in those times, but really to maybe have a stop loss, I will say, for like in real life sense, like, okay, I gotta pause, take a sacred pause here, instead of like adding more size to this emotion or this feeling, and letting it get out of control. I will just take that secret pause and go through those steps, and it makes me feel good again. It might not be immediately, but I start feeling like I'm on my own team, instead of like being my own critic, and my like the guy who's judging me the most can be. Uh I will take a side of like camaraderie with my own self. And it's so encouraging to like have yourself on your team. And if no one else believes in you, at least you believe in you, you know? Oh, I'm gonna let Sal back in because I think he disconnected. That's my thought process. I would love to hear you all, your wisdom, your realizations, your reflections on this, because it's fresh off the dome. So
I love the idea of having an emotional stop loss where it's like, all right, I'm not going to add to this position. Obviously, it's not working, and I don't want to lose even more, right? Because I think it snowballs if you let it, especially if you're dealing with something intense in life. It's emotions are natural, and I don't think we need to oppose them or they're arising even when they're negative. But listening, slowing down, listening to the message they have to tell us, and knowing that sometimes, man, like with like let's say you're going through a big breakup or something, right? You can't just clear that emotion with a session of breathing. You have to expect realism, expect what you know about your body, about how it processes things, your mind, how it processes things. It might be a slower process than we want it to be, and we might end up snowballing because it's not as paper, it's not as like crystal clear and clear cut as placing a stop loss. Emotions are a little complicated sometimes. So
To add to that, the awareness too, as opposed to being aware of it and then trying to change it like immediately. I know I've been guilty of that. Trying to say like this, like you were saying, Keon, like this is a bad thing to feel. I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling anxious. And it's so easy to classify those things as bad, as terrible. I have to do something to fix that. Whereas what you were saying, we're human. These are pretty much, unless you're Jesus Christ himself, and even he had these emotions probably, you're gonna want to be aware of them. You're as opposed to just trying to change them or classify them as bad. That creates resistance in itself. I've certainly noticed that in me. So yeah, just accepting them, being aware of them, and then the stop loss idea is certainly a great idea. Like, what can I do right now? I recognize that I'm not in the best state. I'm feeling an emotion I'd rather not. Let's sit with it for a while. Don't smoke it away. Don't fuck it away. Don't eat it away. Sit with it, be with it, and then potentially breathing love into it and loving the fact that you just had these what's going on, that you just had these emotions, and then doing what you can to alchemize them as opposed to just labeling them as bad and trying to change them.
You know, man, sometimes like the worst pain that we go through is actually just it's a dip into our subconscious and some of what's stored in there and hiding in there, because we don't just feel negative out of nowhere. It's always programmed. It's always in there already, and we're reliving it, right? So periods where we're in our negativity are actually times of growth, oftentimes, you know, a lot of times. And
That's yeah.
it's hard to remember that. Like if you're really not feeling good and it's persisting, you just want to get rid of it. But maybe a couple weeks down the line, maybe if it's really bad, you know, a few months, a year, a few years. I mean, there are states that I have been in for like, there are certain states and beliefs that I've held for like 5 years that were misaligned. And I see at the end of that journey, when I finally transitioned through, I'm like, oh, like, and when I say state, I mean like a state of being that encompasses and also includes certain, it's almost like a scale, right? Like it's like playing in a minor scale, and like the music is a little bit sad, right? And um you're in that frequency for a long time, and then suddenly you're like, boop, you know, you hit the third instead of the second on the scale, and you're like, oh, that sounds more happy. And you transition out of that, and you learn at the end of that, wow, I learned so much about this particular negative state of being that now I can talk to other people who are dealing with that about it, right? Because as far ahead as we get in life with ourselves, like in relationship to our own evolution, there's always going to be people ahead of us, and there's always going to be people behind us, just in terms of, and in different categories, right? Like somebody could be a financial genius and be an emotional mess, right? And they could need the emotional help. And so, and we should find them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's a learning journey. Negative emotions are teachers. They're not we want to get rid of them because we judge them as bad, but I think that's just like creating, that judgment creates a shadow within ourselves where we think we're supposed to be all light and love all the time. And the reality is that we're supposed to be human, like, and spirit. And neither human nor spirit rejects these states. That's ego. Ego shows up and it says, I can't be that. I can't be negative. I don't want to be negative. I'm not. You lose your sense of comfort and safety within your own body, because the thing that is out of control is emerging from within you. So you're suddenly, you have this battle that is internalized between opposing parts of your psyche, opposing parts of your ego, and neither side can win. They're locked in one. The one side is the negative state, and the other side is the judgment, and they're like a pair that when you figure out how to separate them and maybe put like love between them, right? You can see them as two children fighting, right? Over nothing, over a toy, right? You put a little love between them, put understanding between them, put a sense of generosity between them, and suddenly your inner critic can become like a generous spirit that offers, right? Rather than that offers constructive feedback, right? And the part of you that's hurting or that's stuck in the negative state, that can be encouraged to like form a friendship with that critic, because your critic often knows like the light aspect of the critic, right? If there's a duality to every state, the light side of the critic knows what's needed to move forward, right? But that might be hidden from you because you're looking at the shadow side of it. So yeah, it comes back to like giving love, patience, attention to different parts of yourself, even your ego. There's a
Oh,
goat.
beautifully
There's a
said, beautifully said.
car right now.
I like that comparison of the two children fighting and putting a little love and understanding between them, and would you call that as the negativity and the judgment, and kind of and putting love in between those, so we're not judging the negative, like we're not judging anything in our own human experience, but rather embracing who we are, embracing who we are in all aspects of ourselves. And I like what you said earlier too about the discomfort, or like when you're in a when we're in a place, or anybody's in a place of discomfort, or it can be for extended period of time. It's actually an opportunity to, as you mentioned, to grow, and it's an opportunity to go to the next level, and maybe something that we want to learn in our own self, we want to change in our own self. And when we become like when there's no dissonance anymore between it, and we are able to face it, it's really beautiful, but it's very difficult. I've noticed, like, there's been certain things in my life where, like, I knew about it for such a long time, but it took me such a long time to finally face it and be like, all right, I gotta just face it. And when I finally faced it, I remember feeling like that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad, was it? It was pretty. It's like I felt so relieved and happy and free afterwards. And
Can you
one of
give an
these things, one of these examples was like my communication with my mother and sister. I remember, like, every time we would talk, we would a lot of times when we would talk, we would tend to have some conflict arise, and then it would tend to bring up things from the past that had nothing to do with whatever we were trying to solve in that moment. And I remember just being more aware of, like, I'm not going to do that anymore, bring up things from the past when they're not relevant anymore in this moment. And um and to also practice a more of a nonviolent communication with them, and maybe question them, like, first of all, like, address the way they were feeling. If they were upset, it's for a reason, and then bring it up, okay, and be real specific about what was going on in that moment. uh this is something that changed the relationship between my mom and sister and I forever. We get along so well now, but back when I was like 19 years old, 18 years old, up until that point, we were it was like almost every single day just fighting, arguing, and at some point I felt like it was an addiction. Like, we didn't even know how to stop that. It was just like it was like a habit that just couldn't stop. And and I remember someone had taught me about this kind of nonviolent communication. So I remember sitting my mom and sister down. They were actually really upset with each other about something, and I remember just being the middle person to kind of help. I was just being the coach in between, and saying, okay, these are the rules. You're gonna have to listen fully. Don't interrupt. And when they finish listening, you're gonna have to give them a brief overview or a summary of what they said in your own words, and then you're going to ask them what they want you to do different, and then change roles. And they did that, and something like clicked in our whole family, that we just felt so relieved. I just remember, like, them expressing how much they love each other to one another. And then, of course, it's not going to be everything perfect afterwards and no conflicts, but I think the way we dealt with our conflicts was in that light. And I remember us as a family, like, wanting to look into these topics more, and that was like, what, 9 years ago, and or what, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And yeah, our communication with each other has been so much better, and where we get along real well now. We speak to each other as like equals, instead of like yelling down to each other, at each other, or whatever. um that's just one example, but I remember, like, I knew that feeling from when I was like young. I knew I had to do something different with my communication, but I just didn't know how to do that, how to take that step. especially with my mom and sister, because I'm so used to them and it was so like such a familiar relationship. So it's easy to default into what I was used to. Yeah. It's a little something, a little something.
It was awesome talking to you guys. Thank you for hosting today, Amala. I have a call I need to take, but
Oh yeah. Thanks
Good
for
to-
hopping on. It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
In the sunshine.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
seeing you.
Take care.
everybody, hey, bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, it's noon on the dot. Yeah. I'm gonna stop this recording now. So we have two different parts to the video. This will be part one, is like the mindset, emotion, and all that stuff we talked about. And
Part two
then
is gold charts.
part two, cold charts, and we'll go flowing through the charts.